Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. We're now getting some visuals coming in from the airport at Taipei in Taiwan. This is Nancy Pelosi leaving after her visit to Taiwan, and then she'll continue with the other leg of her visit. Remember, this is a visit that has raised eyebrows, not just from China, but globally also mixed reactions coming in. China has seen this as against their territorial sovereignty and integrity, and they feel this is against the one China policy. Multiple reactions that we've seen. The United States has also done some sort of damage control. We've also seen reactions from Iran and the European Union as well. The European Union for now has done a balancing act by saying that they have a clear one China policy and they recognize the government of the People's Republic of China as the sole legal government of China, while they also continue to pursue friendly relations and close cooperation with Taiwan. So those visuals now coming in there from the tarmac at the Taipei airport in Taiwan. Nancy Pelosi, minutes from now, you'll see her actually getting on that plane and departing from Taiwan and then continuing the other leg of her visit. Before that, she had already visited Singapore and Malaysia and then eventually to Taiwan, which interestingly wasn't mentioned officially as part of her itinerary. Our guests continue to be with us. Rubinder, let me come to you first. And before we talk about the larger aspect of what this means for India, so on and so forth, because we're getting these visuals now coming in from the airport where we are going to see Nancy Pelosi get on that plane and they depart from Taiwan. Right from the minute these rumors started, this entire visit had been shrouded in suspense and secrecy. No mention on the official itinerary. There was no confirmation that was coming in from Taiwan as well. Do you think this was the right way to go?
I'm sorry, I just missed the question. With respect to India?
No. So with respect to India, I said we'll just discuss in a bit. But because we're getting these visuals coming in, I want to understand, what did you make of the approach of keeping this entire visit in suspense? No confirmation as part of the official itinerary, no confirmation from Taiwan. What did you make of this approach?
Well, on the one hand, it shows and affirms America's one China policy, that it does not have diplomatic relations with Taiwan, so that's why it's not in the official itinerary. Okay, the quote-unquote countries are, but Taiwan was just a side trip. So that's that nuance which America is playing upon, or which Nancy Pelosi herself is playing upon, right? Had it been put in her official itinerary, then it would have equated it as a co-equal to a Malaysia, Singapore, Japan, South Korea, right? It is not in the list of those four countries or destinations, so it is not, being recognized as an independent or a sovereign nation on its own. So that's one. But secondly, what definitely Pelosi's trip has done, it has raised Taiwan's profile worldwide hugely, no doubt. It has absolutely, raised the profile, raised the question of Taiwan worldwide. But on the other hand, as we were discussing, it has maybe also reinforced the one China policy for many nations. Right, so the one China policy, which was not often mentioned or was known, but all nations were kind of dancing around it, right? So now suddenly one China policy is a clear-cut, terminology, paradigm in global geopolitics that has become out there. And the issue of Taiwan and Taiwan's autonomy, essentially, in a way you can say. So ideally, I mean, this is what everyone could want, maybe other than the Chinese, that Taiwan stays on as is and relations remain the same. I mean, Taiwan operates as a semi-nation, semi-sovereign state, but does all it does as such. But the point of fact that since it's the core interest of China, that cannot be allowed to happen as per China. And if China will not allow that, then America. See, the other thing is, of course, signals in the Pacific or Indo-Pacific. Not only the budgets of South Korea and Japan and Philippines, they have to, spend more on their defense and offense. These countries are also looking at as to how, the Pelosi visit goes. Had America cancelled the visit, it would have had a huge other impact on these nations.
Okay.
Because always there's that question that how committed America is. But I think the mistake people often make is that we go for the rhetoric rather than for the exact words, right?
Okay.
So America may raise the rhetoric like Nancy Pelosi is saying, we'll stand with Taiwan, we are for all its democracy and all. But where is the word that we will shoot missiles at China if China shoots a missile at Taiwan?
Yeah, I think that's exactly the point that even Ambassador was making at the beginning of the show. So even the word that we're seeing from United States as of now is very, very interesting. We continue to stay with those visuals coming in from the Taipei airport, where you can see Nancy Pelosi now meeting other dignitaries. This is minutes before she actually departs with her team from Taiwan. This was a historic visit, one of the biggest visits that we've seen in the last 25 years, I believe. But Ambassador, I quickly want to go back to the point that we were making before we slipped into a break, which was what is going to be the next action as far as China and Beijing is concerned. If we are saying that a formal invasion or a full-blown war is not on the cards, at least as of now, could there be smaller signals that could be sent? For example, wanting to seize smaller islands. And the reason that I'm saying this is because we've seen this with China in the past, whether it was the Cold War or even as early as 2012, where they've done something similar with Philippines.
Well, yes, I cannot predict the future. I'm not a crystal gazer. But what I will say is that it seems more than likely that China will take calibrated, incremental, and restrained action, which is more than the sum total of what has happened right now, which means perhaps seize an island or take some action. They already have, because they have sent their ships 20 miles off the shore of Taiwan already, which is not what they had done earlier. You see, their exercises and their presence was much further away from Taiwan in the past. So they have already escalated. But whether they will escalate further will also depend on how the Americans deal with this going forward after Nancy Pelosi leaves Taiwan. As I said, the crisis is dissipating. Now here, I'll go back to the conversation between President Xi Jinping and President Biden that took place before her visit to Taiwan. And I have some kind of a hunch, and this is pure speculation. But as a practitioner, I hope I understand the game. There might have already been a deal between them. Look, we are going to send Nancy Pelosi there. This is how far we'll go. Okay, you are going to do this. You're not going to go beyond that, and everybody lives the day after. Well, at least for one day. After the second day, we don't know what will happen. This is typical in diplomacy. This happened in the Cuban military crisis. This has happened in the past standoffs, not the present one, between India and China. There have been quid pro quo actions. Now, I would love to come to India, because I wanted to say something, but I'll leave it there.
Okay. Quickly going back to Rubinder, and then I'll try and take a final word from Ambassador Ozo as well. But Rubinder, there was another very interesting reaction that came from the Chinese Foreign Ministry, which said that United States is behaving like a bully, is a peace breaker. Isn't this ironic, considering the fact the criticism against China has been exactly of that, of being a bully?
But honestly speaking, America is a bully also. China is a bully also. That's a reality. Okay, America is a bully. See, each nation watches its self-interest and whatever its imagined self-interests are, and America, being what it is right now, as of now in the world for the last 100-odd years, is a bully. There is no doubt in that also. But yes, China is a bully, and for us, it's better that the Chinese bully be subjugated to the extent possible, and for us, as long as we can have a working relationship with the United States. We don't want the US bullying us also. At times, we've also faced that, right?
True.
So, that said, the issue with America is again, it's a confrontation. It's a confrontation, and this will go on. This will go on. China has to go on. The race is now between the two in terms of their standards, technologies, economic strengths, partnerships out there that can be put together. And for that, America needs support of its Indo-Pacific partners. It can. See, on the one hand, America is trying to be a superpower, not only trying, it is now. You see, Europe and NATO growing, dominating Russia so far, right, overall. Here, Indo-Pacific, America looking to put together the architecture. The AUKUS deal was one important deal in that, right? And of course, Quad. Quad is not a military, but Quad is a very strategic of supply chains and etc., right? And these countries, Japan and Korea, especially these two countries, to be, they should beef up their defense and offense to push back the Chinese growth. So that's the kind of an architecture which America is attempting towards, and which China is absolutely not, as you're saying, and as America is saying, China is being a bully because it doesn't want those constraints set up upon itself.
Okay.
It would rather deal with one-on-one with each nation and bully it down, rather than all of these nations come together and their combined strength then beats China. It doesn't want that.
But no denying the fact that a clear message has been sent to China as far as the position of the United States is concerned, and even Taiwan at this point taking a very nuanced position, saying we don't want a war, but if there is one, we will not shy away from defending ourselves. I'll want to thank our guests at this point as well. It's a wrap from my side. I'm tossing it over to my